He's not a God who takes away. He's a God who pries things out of our hands so that he can put better things in our hands. Because we cling to stuff that we were never meant to cling to. See, God didn't just swoop in with the bread from heaven. I actually see it this way. God swooped in with the hunger because he wanted to give them more than they had ever asked for or imagined. So look at it this way. What if running out of food was just as miraculous as the bread raining from heaven? What if the lack was just as much God's hand, God's heart, and God's love as the plenty? That's not what we preach. That's not what we're waiting to hear. We don't sing any songs about the lack. We sing songs about how he gives the plenty so we don't ever have to lack. And yet, if this is who God is, and if he said, I caused, I allowed, I created your hunger, isn't he saying, I dried up what you had so that I could give you more than you knew you needed? Isn't that what sovereignty means? Like, isn't that what it means to say that God is sovereign? Doesn't it mean that he is the closer of doors, not just the opener of them? Doesn't it mean that he's the God who ends seasons, doesn't just begin them? Let's just look at it this way. Doesn't it mean that God leads us into and out of, not just one or the other? So in Elijah's case, doesn't this mean that God gave the brook and then dried it up? In Sarah and Rebecca, Hannah and Elizabeth's case, doesn't it mean that God closed the wombs and then he opened them? In Joseph's life, doesn't it mean that God ordered slavery and imprisonment just as much as he had ordered promotion and authority? See, it's not that God had a destiny for Joseph and the enemy tried to remove it. It's that God understood your destiny will take you to slavery, will take you to prison, and will ultimately save your family when I put you in authority. But it's all my plan for you. And we worry so much about what the enemy's trying to steal instead of what God's trying to build. Because if it's God, it can't be stolen. We've got to stop being afraid of someone that has no power, because that's when you end up giving powerless people authority in your life. In Jesus' case, doesn't sovereignty mean that God submitted him to death and raised him to life? See, God orders all of our steps, and they're all for his glory, but they're also for our good, to do in us and through us his will, that all would be saved. As Jesus said, and as Joanne just prayed, in John 5:17, my Father is always working, which means he's working in the hunger just as much as he's working in the manna. But we generally don't give thanks until the manna comes. In fact, we generally can't see God's hand until the manna comes.